Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's CMA webinar. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you guys can hear me, see the screen. All good on that front? If yes, then I shall proceed further. All right, great. Thank you, Mr. Weber. Thank you, Amna. Great. If you can hear me, let's start with today's webinar. All right. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. Well, I am Shiv Mehta. I'm a certified management accountant and a CFA charter holder. I have over 9 years of experience in teaching finance, especially CMA and CFA. I've also taught other financial courses such as investment banking courses, private equity courses at big companies like Adia and ADNOC. Apart from that, I've also had my share of industry experience in various finance verticals such as investment banking, private equity, credit research, and equity research, specifically at Deutsche Bank. Apart from that, I've also written 400 articles on Investopedia, and I've also worked as a content writer for various other publications. So that's pretty much my experience. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I've been joined by Mr. Prabin Jha, who is the financial controller with Emirates National Group. He's a board member of IMA Abu Dhabi. IMA is the body that administers the CMA exam. Well, we will be speaking to him about his career and about how CMA has helped him in his illustrious career. So yes, we will be speaking to him in a bit. And I would like him to introduce himself right now, and then later on he will answer your questions as well. So Mr. Prabin, over to you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Seb. It's a nice conversation and discussing regarding our career path as a CMA. Happy to be the part of the discussion. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Prabin. All right, guys. So I would also like to introduce our company, Kaplan Professional Middle East, which is a part of Kaplan Group, an educational arm of a Fortune 500 company. We've been in the industry, in the education industry, for over 80 years. We provide education services to colleges, universities, businesses, including higher education programs, professional training and certifications. At KPME, we have a team of 5 full-time CMA trainers. That is more than anybody in this GCC region, who will ensure that your CMA journey will be a smooth sail. Now, we train in more than 100 languages. We have more than 1,000 education partners, 10,000 plus business clients, and we've taught more than 1 million delegates, worldwide. So that's about Kaplan Professional Middle East. And I would like to talk through the session agenda for the day. So first, I will begin with the introduction to the CMA qualification. Then we will hear from Mr. Prabin Jha on how the CMA qualification has helped him in his corporate journey. Then most of you would also like to know that you might have heard of the fact that there are 2 parts in CMA. And which one should you start off with? If you have that question in your mind, we will answer those questions as well. Then I will discuss about your CMA pathway. And then, most importantly, Kaplan's Training Solutions and Excellence Program. We will talk about that. And then finally, I'll kind of give you a small demo on how we train people in the class. And then we will open the session for Q&A. So let me talk about the CMA qualification right now. Well, the CMA qualification is basically a gold standard in management accountants profession. It's a global benchmark for management accountants. It's a clear passport to get into the management accounting role. That is not only including a particular accountancy role, but it is also a strategic role that you can get into in any organization. It's a globally recognized credential, focuses on critical skills which are used in business, With the help of CMA, you can become a strategist, you can become a financial controller, just like Mr. Prabin Jha. You can help the management with a lot of things like budgeting, for example. Then leading employers have CMAs in their management roles. Well, the good part is you can give the exam in any given day in a 2 months window. So we are talking about May and June. So in May and June, you can give the exam as per your convenience, and it's a flexible exam offered in hundreds of locations. So even if you're traveling somewhere, you can still enroll yourself for the exam in May and June. Then you will be a part of a 125,000 global member network. Now that helps in a lot of things. That helps you find a job, for example. Networking is really critical in a professional's life. So that's something that you will get access to with CMA. Right, so that's about the CMA. The great part about the CMA is that the difference is in the numbers. A CMA qualified professional would be able to earn, and this is the statistics that we have come up with, that the IMA has come up with, that the CMA earns 63% higher salary than the non-CMAs in the same profession. So that's one of the plus points about the Certified Management Accountancy course. Well, apart from that, here we can show you detailed numbers, as you could see. The CMAs have more chance of reaching the top level management. So we can see that there are 73% more CMA certified or CMA certified professionals who have reached the top. 73% have reached directors, 72% have reached the CFO levels, and 66% have reached the financial manager's role. Everywhere in all the regions, if you look at it, CMAs earn more salary than the non-CMAs. And in fact, there is a big contrast when you look at Middle East, Africa, and India. CMAs earn double salary as compared to the non-CMAs. So critical for your career. I'm sure some of you and most of you need a higher salary. I know you need good jobs as well. That's how the Gen Zs and Gen Ys work. But then salaries are also important, and CMA is one of the roadmap with which you will be able to achieve a higher salary. Now, these are the kind of positions that you can grasp when you become a CMA: finance manager, financial analyst, financial risk manager, cost accountant, CFOs, business analyst, data science and data analyst. And I know this is related to somewhat technology, but then CMA has recently updated the course to include the technology and analytics that a CMA needs to be aware of. So that's a brilliant part. I think that's one of the things that the IMA has done, which has been the best move in the recent past. And these are some of the companies that hire CMAs. So you can in fact look at non-financial companies who also hire CMAs, because they need certified management accountants who help top level management with strategies, with budgets. So that's where you can get into. Apple is one of them, Intel, Walmart, JCPenney. So I would say that this is one of the courses which opens up your career path in almost all the industries, because CMAs will be required in almost all the industries. You can become a financial analyst, which is in the company, and that is required with almost every firm in the world. Goldman Sachs, IBM, Ford, big names, I would say. So these are all hiring CMAs and giving obviously better salaries. Now let's hear from Mr. Prabin Jha. I'm going to ask him some questions and he will give us the roadmap of how CMA has helped him. So Mr. Prabin, I would like to ask you a few questions. So why did you do CMA?
Yes, thank you. This is a very nice questions, and I have so many of my colleagues ask the same questions. Well, if your goal is to go for corporate and add value to your daily operations of the company, then you must look towards the world's leading certification and management accounting, that is the CMA program. by IMA. You have to choose whether you want to become a leader or the follower. Definitely, everybody wants to be a leader. Then you have to choose CMA. It gave me a credential which I can showcase in front of my employer that, hey, I am a CMA. I have certain skill set which I can demonstrate each day and every day during my work. What I'm doing, I have learned the essential skills which I am practicing each and every day. I learned business operation, which is much more than the accounting techniques. We learn analytics, process improvement, decision making, planning. We are sitting in the front seat with the decision makers. We are the support for the decision maker as well as the decision maker. So it gives a self pride in himself that I am doing something which I am proud of. Mm-hmm. And most importantly, in the ever-changing business world, you will be equipped with the updated knowledge by way of completing the necessary CP hours. You will gain all the knowledge. And all this we can achieve by becoming a CMA. Mm-hmm. There are a lot that could be experienced, and you see all the vacancies. When I decided to for a CMA program, because I wanted a certification which can be marketed. This certification I can market myself for any possible job. If I am a CMA and if I have lost a job, I'm confident that I will get another job. And last but not the least, I would like to say, for those who are not CMA and they are in job, maybe they are in better job, I would like to say, what let you here will not let you there. So be certified. That certification will be a guarantee for your job forever. Hope I have justified.
Perfect. Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much for your wonderful insights, Mr. Prabin. I just want to have a follow-up question. How did CMA help you in your career path?
Yes. The knowledge skill which I have developed, not only through the certification, but also after that, as you have mentioned that they have updated the syllabus of data analytics and all, which is readily available for us as a member, and we are updating. For example, now there is a course FP&A, and I was surprised it was a value addition when I was spending my time. Being a financial controller, when you are spending, you will definitely ask for ROI. And that is the ROI for me when I'm learning some new things. Why the static budget is not an essential skill, essential things for the company. It should be a rolling forecast. There are a lot others which we cannot mention in a 1 hour program. So all this helped me, and my updated knowledge will definitely, when I'm talking in front of the board members, in front of the CEO, the updated skill, updated knowledge, which is a value addition to the organization. They will think that definitely what I am paying, this is the value for the money.
Awesome, awesome, Mr. Prabin Jha. So looks like CMA has definitely helped you a lot in your career path. Just to ask you one more thing for our candidates' behalf. So what do you think is the best practice, or what should the candidate do in order to pass the exam?
Well, if you allow me, before attending this question, if I can tell why CMA, and then if I can address that, that will be more justified. if you don't
Right.
mind. Okay, so see, most of the countries have their own accounting body. And when we are looking for a global certification, a certification which is recognized globally, which supports their certified member in progress their career, definitely the name comes, the preferred name, a CMA from IMA US. We support its member in 150 countries and more than 350 professional and student chapters.
Right.
Why CMA? Because when you are studying country-specific accounting certification, you will learn. For example, I don't want to compare certification, one certification to other certification, but a country-specific accounting body will provide you knowledge for the regulations of that country, laws of that country, and also on top of that, auditing an attestation, which you rarely use in your when you are working for a company as a controller, as a financial controller, or as a CFO. Even as an accountant, you will not require the regulation of your home country. So this is a global standard. Law, taxation, all this, which we don't require of my home country. We require what we require, that is the global management accounting practice, which we do each day and every day. Management accountants are vital to the financial health of the organization. They take critical decisions, safeguard the company's integrity, plan for business sustainability. They might be CFO or the controller, budgeting, analysis, all these things are taught in the CMA program. Now, coming to your question straight away, what I would like to suggest to our members, our attendees here, that if you are a fresh graduate, go for the part 1 of the CMA. If you are working professional, and then go for the part 2, because part 2, in my opinion, is something more towards the business skill and all, and part 2 is more about the technicals. So this is what my understanding. But however, I would also tell it depends what area you are more interested and which is simplified for you.
Right. Right. So perfect. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you so much for your insights, Mr. Prabin. Fantastic to hear from you. I would request our attendees, if you have any questions for Mr. Prabin, I would request you to put it in the chat box, and he'll be definitely happy to answer all those questions. So although I'll do another question and answer round later on, but on the topics that Mr. Prabin has spoken about, any questions, anything that you would want to know from career perspective, he'll be happy to answer you. So anyone who has any questions, please put it in the chat box. So we have got a question from Mr. Mozin. So he asks, can you repeat why the professional should take part 2 first? Although, Mr. Mozin, I will dive deep into the discussion of which part to choose, part 1 or part 2. I will also speak about it. But yes, let's hear from Mr. Prabin on this front.
Yes, as I mentioned, it depends on the person. It is optional for CMA has given the option, you go for part 1 or part 2. It depends on you. What I came, because I have done my CMA program 12 years back, and now I'm not in the academia, but most of the young members, when they are coming and they are telling me which part they have done, they are of the opinion that They are of the opinion that CMA Part 2, when they are working, they have the updated knowledge of the business and they are able to grasp these questions in a better way. When they are a fresh graduate, they have the knowledge of accounts and all. They go for the Part 1. This could be differ from person to person. You cannot tell that this applies for each and every person.
Right. So yes, Mr. Mozin, hope Mr. Prabin answered your question. I have another question from from Nadeem. So question is, if I have experience as senior accountant, which is better to study, CMA or CPA, which will be more an added value? So that's a question, Mr. Prabin. Will you be able to take that up?
Yes, I have recently spoken about this. When you are going for a CPA are definitely, as I have mentioned, country-specific accounting bodies are there. Though it is recognized all over the world, if you are from any country, CPA, if you have done, you will learn taxation and law, regulation, auditing and attestation, where you will use in your career. It is a minimum, but the other skills like management accounting, which you as a management accountant, as you know, when we are working in a company, we are called the management accountant, and all these skills is taught in the management accounting in the CMA program. You will not require, attestation or not. You will not require the regulation of the US when you are doing the CPA. The regulation is not required. For example, I'm working in UAE. It is not required by my employer. I should know the regulation of the US. So yes, certification is okay. You can go for anything, but if you want to excel in your career, in your work, you want to prove that you have justified what you have learned, then it is, of course, CMA.
Right. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Hope that question is answered, Nadeem. We have another question. How studies to be planned? What steps, practice sessions to be followed? Although I will be able to take this up Weber later on, but yeah, Mr. Prabin's experience is also, let's listen to him on this front.
Yes, I will see. I suggest to each of my colleague who wants to not only for the CMA, for any of his career progress or any of the certification, you make a picture in mind. You visualize you are a CMA. And then you see you are a business manager and see how you are feeling now. Definitely positively charged. So be positive and focused to become CMA, and don't go for the solo study. Go for a group discussion and group study, which will help a lot. Your motivation will help others, and others' motivation will help to you. And last but not the least, practice, practice, practice. And one more suggestion: go with a reputed educator like Kaplan or any other. You go, you have to decide. Don't go simply for the namesake. You need some publisher's book. You are going some teacher. You are going. Go with the reputed one, which will justify your that you have invested in the right place and you have invested your time in the right thing. Okay.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. More than the money, it's about the time that you invest in everything.
Yes.
So that will be important for you. Right. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Prabin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on, and I will talk about First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Prabin Jha for his insights, wonderful insights. I think even I learned a lot of new things from you on how CMA is helpful in a person's career path as far as the kind of work that each and every organization requires. So thank you so much for your insights. And the next thing that I want to discuss more in detail is which part should you go for, part 1 or part 2? Everyone, I would kindly request you, before I actually proceed with a discussion on part 1 or part 2, which one you should begin with, I would request you to please answer this poll. So just wanted to know, what is your education background? Are you only accounting professional, or you've just studied accountancy in the past, or have you studied finance only in the past, or have you studied both accounting and finance? And if you are from an engineering background or any other background apart from accounting and finance, the fourth response is what I'm looking for. So I would request you, I would urge you to please, I'm going to launch this poll for a minute and a half, and I would request your responses. On the basis of these responses, our discussion on part 1 and part 2 will move forward. So kindly request you to please give a response to this poll. So I've launched the poll right now. So I would request you to respond to this, and then I will proceed with the discussion on which part to choose for, part 1 or part 2. So people who have not responded, kindly request you to please respond on this. That would be great. All right, thank you so much for answering the poll. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. All right, so let me actually begin our discussion of which part should you go for. Now, if you would have given me an answer that you have just studied accounts in the recent past, I would have recommended you part 1. Let me tell you why I'm recommending part 1 and part 2 and what is the logic behind that. For that, what we need to see is the exam syllabus. So let me tell you what is the exam syllabus. Just go over this slide for the next 2 or 3 minutes, and then you will understand that why am I recommending part 1 or part 2 in a particular order. By the way, you can study or you can give either part 2 or part 1 first. This is basically IMA allows CMA part 1 and part 2 to be given in any order. Let me talk about what part 1 has and what part 2 has. So part 1 is basically, the whole exam is called as financial planning, performance, and analytics. And part 2 is more about strategic decision making. So strategic financial management. In part 1, you have 6 topics. First one is external financial reporting decisions. So here you learn about the basics of income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement, although we dive deep into it. Then we learn about planning, budgeting, and forecasting. So here you will actually learn how to build a budget and how to forecast the revenues and the costs. So that's with planning, budgeting, and forecasting. It's a heavyweight in the part 1 exam. Then we have performance management. Now, performance management is basically an extension of part of basically planning, budgeting, and forecasting. So after you build a budget for the next year, what you want to be able to do is compare the actual numbers with the budget. And that's where performance management will come into the picture. Then there is cost management. Again, cost accounting, you will learn various cost accountancy methods. You will learn over here. Then there is something in relation to internal controls, which is somewhat related to audit. And then we have the most important addition, a baby in this course for now, but it's a great addition, I would say, which is technology and analytics, which will help you perform your job better. Now, understand who should go for part one. Now, people who have responded others, that you do not have any accounting or finance background, should go for part one first. Because first you need to learn the basic accounting. That will be here in the first topic, external financial reporting decisions. So first you need to learn all of these material so that you can do well in part two. Now, that's my recommendation to those people who have responded others. Then in part two, what do we have? We have financial statement analysis. Everything is related to finance, by the way, over here. Financial statement analysis. What is financial statement analysis? You will basically learn how to calculate ratios with the help of income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. Now, for people, again, for those people who have responded others, you should go for part one. So you should first learn income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. Only then you will be able to analyze those financial statements, which is the first topic in part two. Then we have corporate finance. Here you will learn basically about how to calculate, let's say, risk and return. How much capital should a company raise? So all this is a management accountant's role. So think of it this way, that you are directly in touch with the top management. Top management wants to know how much loan should I take? They will come to you. That is the concept that you will learn in corporate finance. Then the next part is decision analysis. Here you will basically learn about, again, finance related. Here you will basically be involved in a key decision making. What is that decision making? What should be the pricing of your product? Now, who will answer that question? Who will the CEO, Elon Musk, reach out to? He will reach out to a CMA for that. And then the decisions like, should we continue with this product? Should we continue with this business segment or not? Who will answer that question for Elon Musk? You will answer the question for Elon Musk after you have done CMA. Then we have the next part, which is risk management. Here you will learn various kinds of risks that an enterprise or a company faces. You will learn how to identify those risks, and then you will learn the various measures which will help you to mitigate those risks. Where will Elon Musk go for that? Again, it will be a CMA. Investment decisions. Then we come to investment decisions. Which project should we go for? Which project should we not go for? That's coming in investment decisions. Then we finally have professional ethics. Any professional qualification, a member or a professional has to behave ethically. So that has been taught in CMA part 2. Now understand, everyone, people who have who should go for part 2. Part 2 should be, you should go with part 2 if you are familiar, number 1, with these topics. Number 2, if you have studied more finance in the recent past, you should go for part 2. If you have studied more accounting in the recent past, then you should go for part 1. If you are not from accounting and finance background, as I said, you should go for part 1. Now, another key factor for choosing part 2 is the pass rates. The pass rates for CMA part 2 is high, is around 50%. Whereas for part 1, it's around 40%. Now, if you have a little bit of good finance background, that is your educational background is somewhat related to finance, and you recently studied finance, go for part 2. You will sure shot be able to clear that. So that is my answer for which part to choose, part 1 or part 2. Any follow-up questions, you can ask me right now, and although I will open the Q&A round later on as well, but I'll be happy to answer if there is any particular question which is applicable for you right now itself. Anyone? Any questions? So I hope you've got a clarity of which part should you go for. Why the passing rate for part 2 is higher? A great question, by the way. See, understand that there are many people who have, first of all, I would compare the material to be a little easier as compared to part 1. If you are not from an accountancy background. So for part 2, even a person who is not from, think of it this way, the part 2 is after you've given part 1. So you've already learned the basics of part 1, and then part 2 kind of becomes easy because there are more people who are from no accounting and finance background. They go for part 1. Once they have learned the basics, they come to part 2, and then part 2 kind of becomes easier for them. Right. So that's one of the reasons why pass rates for part 2 is a little higher. I hope I answered your question, Nadeem. But again, if you are from a finance background, you will find this, which we are recommending to go for first, you'll find this material a little easier. What is preferred for engineering, CMA or CFA? See, they have two different roles. CFA is everything about finance. And particularly, it takes care of things which are from external analyst point of view. So if you want to analyze whether you should go for a stock, which stock should you go for? You should go for CFA. If you want to build your portfolio, you want to be able to manage money, you should go for CFA, if that's your career path. But if you are looking for, finance management, although that particular stuff is also taught in CMA, part 2 specifically, but it does not go in the level of detail that a CFA would go in. What is preferred for after engineering is that you learn the basics of accounting, you learn the basics of finance, and then you will make your CFA journey a little easier. I hope I answered your question, Amna. So CMA, it can be done faster as well. So you can complete CMA within 6 months to 1 year. CFA takes a lot of time and effort. So that is another key factor. If you want to get a degree professional certification faster, then CMA is the right choice for you. So that's my answer to that. Any follow-up questions, any other question? I'll be happy to answer them. Right, fantastic. Thank you so much for your questions. Although I will have a formal Q&A session. So if you think of a question later on about this particular topic, do come back to me at the end. But let me cover some other areas as well. Now, how to attain the CMA credential for someone who has not gone, who does not know about this. This is a key couple of slides coming up. So this is how you attain the CMA qualification. Now, firstly, what you'll have to do is you'll have to register. You'll have to enroll yourself at the IMA website. You'll have to become their member. So become a member of the IMA, Institute of Management Accountants, and register for the exam. Now, you can choose part 1 or part 2 in any order, as I said, but both parts are given in this window. Either you can give it in Jan-Feb. Mostly, if you decide you will go for CMA, you should go for May and June. And then there is also September and October. The format is completely computer-based. Now, computer-based will have 100 MCQ questions, which will have to be done in 3 hours. And then 2 30-minute essay questions. So 3 hours for MCQs, and then 1 hour for this two essay type questions. The results of this exams will be given to you or will be mailed to you in 6 weeks from the month of the exam. And the minimum passing score is 72%. So it's a 500 marks exam. You should get 72%. That's approximately 360 marks, right? So that's the goal, easily achievable if you've put in the right effort and basically listen to us on how to prepare for the exam, which I will allude to a little bit later on as well. Then once you clear the part 1 and part 2 exam, you need to claim your credential so that you can use the CMA marks across your name. You need a bachelor's degree for that. And then you will also have to demonstrate 2 years of relevant work experience. Now, this work experience could be anything in relation to accounting or finance. So once you have that for 2 years, right there, CMA is right there in front of your name, right? So this is the roadmap to attain the CMA marks. So this is what you need. Educational requirement, you need a bachelor's degree from an accredited university. If not accredited, qualification must be evaluated by an independent agency, but most of the universities are included, and that's what we have seen generally as far as UAE residents are concerned. So sample of accredited universities: Abu Dhabi universities, University of Wollongong, Zayed University, all the major universities out here in UAE are included as accredited university. So you do not have to worry too much about that, right? ACCA candidates automatically qualify. So if you are an ACCA candidate, you automatically qualify to attain the CMA marks. That's what we have here. Experience criteria. These are all anything that you do here. Preparation of financial statements, financial planning and analysis, auditing, budget preparation, investment decision making, costing analysis, all of that, anything, as I said, related to finance or accountancy, everything will help you get that 2 years of required work experience, right? So this is what we need to be aware of. If you have a part-time experience, that also counts. 2 years of part-time experience equals 1 year of relevant work experience. So that's what you need in order to get the CMA marks. This we have already discussed. So it's a computer-based test, 2 parts. Each part can only be attempted once within a window. So understand that if you give the exam in May or June for part 1, then you will have to wait for the next window to give the part 1 again, right? And that won't happen, should not happen. Ideally, if you listen to us and prepare well. So mostly I will also give you the tips to clear the exam in the first attempt. So that will come later on during the webinar. Right, the next is that you have made a registration with the IMA. You should complete both the parts within 3 years, right? Scoring and grading, as I told you before, that 100 MCQs are there. And then there are 2 essay type questions. MCQs overall out of 500 get a weightage of 75%. So 375 marks are allocated to MCQs and 125 marks are allocated to essay type questions. Now, one key point is you will first always go through the MCQ questions, and to be able to access the essay type questions, you should answer at least more than 50% marks in the MCQ. Only then they will show you the essay type questions, because there is no point of giving essay if you are not able to get more than 50% score in the MCQs. Now, each essay part will be graded offline, which explains us the reason why the results come out in 6 weeks. And the minimum passing scale score is 360. I have a question from Amna. Amna, if you don't mind, I will definitely come back to this question at the end in the Q&A round. Let me explain the whole CMA course, and then I will definitely take up your question. All right, fantastic. Now, some of the fees that you'll have to pay. So you'll have to join IMA as a member. For that, there is a fee of $245. Pay the CMA certification entrance fee, which is valid for 3 years. That is another $250. That's a total to registration. For registration, the total would be around $495. Join IMA and pay the CMA certification entrance fee, valid for 3 years. So the total would be, for overall registration, will be $495. And then each exam that you take, you'll have to pay additional $415. Now, what you do is, this exam is given at a Pro Metrics center. Now, I'm sure some of you who have given other professional exams have gone to Pro Metrics center, a great center, where many people go and give the exams for other certifications as well. Very nicely managed. What you get is, after you have registered for the exam and joined IMA, paid the CMA certification entrance fee, you will get the registration acknowledgement form, which includes your authorization number, testing window, the instruction for candidates, and access to the CMA exam support package. So you will schedule the exam with the Prometric Center at least 4 weeks prior to the preferred exam day, and then appear for the exam. Now, the good part is that if you join Kaplan, you will get a great discount from us. So we are a platinum CMA course provider. Platinum CMA course providers get an opportunity from IMA to provide great discounts for the students. And I will discuss those discounts in a bit. Right, so you will get discount on IMA membership, CMA entrance, and for both the parts, registration fee. For all these things, basically, you will be getting a discount. And this is not our discount. This is something that we, as an education course provider, a platinum course provider for IMA, our students get for that. Let me talk about other things. The Kaplan, the most importantly, how will we help you out in the CMA journey? You will learn here about the Kaplan's Training Solutions and Excellence Program, which is basically in relation to helping you get thus placements as well after you have cleared the CMA exam. So let me talk about that later on. Now here, why should you choose Kaplan Professional? Well, as I told you, we are a market leader in the GCC region, not only for CMA, but for CFA as well as for ACCA. We basically teach you from globally renowned study materials, which is Wiley. Wiley is rated the best study material in the whole wide world. And many surveys have proven that. So we offer you Wiley. We obviously give you, as part of the package, the Wiley materials as well, which I will discuss later on. Wide range of flexible classroom and online programs for all levels. So here you will get flexible classroom or online program. So if you prefer online training, you can go for online training. If you prefer face-to-face, we also offer that. Each session, each face-to-face session is broadcasted through Zoom. So these are basically blended lectures. And trust me, both the lectures are similar in nature. So here I will give you a demo, which will basically give you an idea of how things look like online. Then we also, because we have full-time certified trainers, 5 full-time certified trainers, we continuously help our students with doubts. So we give doubt clearing support, we give career guidance, we give networking opportunities. Now, trust me, because we are full-time trainers, even if you have any doubt at late night, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, one of the trainers will be awake. Trust me, he will respond to your query. So on a real-time basis. In fact, I have responded to people at even 2 o'clock if I'm awake. So that's the kind of support that full-time CMA trainers give you, and we have the largest team in the GCC region. And then we have our own LMS project management support. I'm going to actually show you that in a bit, that how our LMS looks like. So all our lectures, trust me, are recorded, and each recording is viewable after the class. So you can view our recordings, you can view our notes, which are downloadable. So all those things are available with you, and I will show you that in a bit. And then we have extensive exam practice that we give. So each topic that we cover, we give you an exam for that. So every topic, once it is covered, we will have an exam for that. Then we will later on also have mock exams for you. And then we will also have, revision sessions for you. And then we will continuously evaluate your scores and give you the roadmap on what next to do. So we will keep on telling you, this is the area that you need to focus on. This is the area that you are struggling in, and this is the area that you need to work on. And absolutely, you're always welcome to have a one-on-one doubt clearing session with us. So you can book a one-on-one doubt clearing session with us. You can come to our premises, or you can schedule a call with us, and we will be able to solve your doubts even outside the session. So that's why we should choose Kaplan Professional Middle East. These are the full-time trainers. So you have already known about me, Shiv Mehta. We have Mr. Bilal Ahmed, who is a CFA charter holder, CPA, ACCA. Again, a lot of experience. He has over 14 years of experience in teaching all these areas as well as CMA. We have Sana, who is an ACCA and has also cleared both parts of CMA. And she will also be able to help you and has been teaching CMA for a while. We have Mr. Hatim. He is an MBA, CMA, and CDIF. Again, an experience of around 10 years in teaching CMA. Again, he'll be able to help you out with both part 1 and part 2. And then we have Mr. Murtaza. Right. So let me also tell you about the CMA training program. So our training program is divided into 2 parts. One is the preparation program, and then one is the revision program. So our preparation program comes with a 60+ hours of live instructor sessions, personalized doubt clearing session, which I just spoke about. Every 4th or 5th session, you can come to us with your problems, and we will solve that in the class or outside the class. We'll be solving around 400+ MCQs within the class itself. You will also get the video lectures, the video recorded lectures. You will get class slides, you will get formula sheet. And one thing that we have added to our offerings is the flashcards. So the flashcards will also be provided to you from Wiley. And these are some great 500, 600 flashcards, which will help you in quick revisions. So that's something that we are offering you, one of the kind. And then we have study planner sessions for you. We will keep on helping you out, plan your studies. Once you have gone through our prep sessions, you can enroll yourself for the revision sessions, which I feel is the game changer. So these are 2 full-day weekends where we revise all the sections, all the topic areas. And here we will do problem solving. We will even deal with old IMA questions so that you can get a flavor of how IMA asks question on the exam. You will do a practice session. You will have access to the recordings of even these revision sessions. As I said, you will get access to formula sheet, mock exams. This is if you just enroll yourself for revision. If you enroll yourself for both, you will obviously be getting all of these. And then we will also give you some sample essay type questions. So here we will give you tips and tricks on how to deal with the essay questions. And we will also help you know the fact that what are the hot topics which are currently being tested by the IMA on essays, both for part 1 and part 2. We will tell you which topics should you prepare more for essays. So that's part of the revision program as well as the prep program. You can basically enroll. My recommendation for you would be basically enroll for both. The Wiley study materials, the best study materials in the whole wide world for CMA, we use that. And here you will get a textbook from Wiley. You will get a participant guide, which is nothing but the slides that we will show you in the class. You will get a printed version of the textbook and the participant guides. You will get access to 5,500+ questions. CMA practice questions. So you can keep on practicing these questions. Trust me, if you practice most of these questions, there is not an iota of doubt that you will not clear the exam. So that's what I believe. The more you practice, the more are your chances of clearing the exam. And then you get the access to the digital flashcards as I just spoke about. And here I will talk about the LMS Solutions where you get few things. So let me actually show it to you on a real basis. So this is our LMS, our learning management system. So let me show you one of them. Yeah, so here it is. Let me show you over here. So here, this is given to both face-to-face attendees as well as the online attendees. You have access to your course schedule over here. So this is the course schedule. You will have access to the Zoom link. If for some reason the face-to-face people want to join online because they are busy, can't come to the premises, they can join online. They will get the Zoom link here. You will have all the session, all the course slides over here. Okay. And then you will also have question and answer access. And then finally, this is the game changer. Here you will access the trainer's note as well. So all these trainers write the notes over here. You will have access to these notes, and these are, trust me, printable as well. So here you can download. There's a download button. You can download these notes. You can take out a print by yourself for this. Then you also have access to the recordings of each and every lecture. So if you have missed out, you were attending the session, you missed out on one or two things, you can always go back to the recordings. If you have missed the whole lecture, you can always go back to the recordings. So this is something that is an addition after COVID, helping all our students. Right. So all of this is a part of our LMS. So the moment you enroll yourself, you will have access to this LMS right from the class number 1. Then, as I told you, our ecosystem, you will get a dedicated student support. Always and always, we'll keep on motivating you, counsel you, give you career advisory anytime between the class or after the class, between breaks. You can always come to us. Then we will give you extra practice session, regular quizzes, doubt clearing sessions, and there is a discussion forum, which is our game changer WhatsApp group that we have. Here, if you are facing an issue with the question, you are not able to understand this question, take a picture, send it to us in the group, and our trainers will help you out on a real-time basis. You do not have to wait for the next session for that. Then, yeah, another key point, if you enroll yourself with us, the excellence program is also something that we are offering you. 1 full day of complimentary financial skills training, 1 full day of complimentary leadership development training. Here in the financial skills training, you will be learning about financial modeling, financial storytelling, introduction to data analytics, and blockchain and crypto. And this is how the last time our excellence program happened. Right, so this is what we did. And trust me, the financial modeling is one thing that you should be aware of. This is like, a typewriter, or rather a typist knowing about the typewriter. So this is now that kind of a skill. So a financial analyst everywhere should at least have a basic knowledge of financial modeling. So that's something that we are offering you complimentary, although it's a very expensive course if considered on a standalone basis. So that's something that if you enroll yourself with us, you will get that. All right, so that's something, and you will also get some basic knowledge of blockchain, a hot topic in the whole wide world. Right, so this is what we have, and then some of our candidates have also been placed. Our excellence program also, did a workshop where we called in some of the companies, and those companies offered jobs on our premises to some candidates. So we have included that as well for you guys. Some of the candidates who have been placed are with these companies: KPMG, EY, Fatima, Shalhow, Hub Club, Emirates NBD, Rack Bank, Grant Thornton. So some of our candidates, we have helped our candidates get placements, internships in these firms. And this is the pricing with us. CMA Part 1 will start on 4th of February. These are the dates. Please make a note of it. CMA Part 2 will begin on 26th of February. Whether you choose CMA Part 1 and Part 2, for Prep Pro, just preparation lectures, we are giving that including the study materials at 4,199. That's the fees for that. For both Prep Pro and Revision Pro, both prep sessions and revision sessions, the total fees would be per part 5250. If you enroll for both the parts in one go, there is a discount of 7874, which is a 20% discount. And everything is included out here: CMA Wiley study materials, online recorded lectures, one-on-one with the trainers, in-class live practice test, online mock exam, and even our KPME assurance. Right, so this is what we have, but this is the normal rate. Special promotion. is that prep plus revision pro plus Wiley materials for part 1 or part 2, we are offering it at currently 3,937, which is around a 20% further discount. And then prep plus Wiley study material for part 1 or part 2, excluding the revision sessions, it's offered only at 3,200. So if you feel you do not need the revisions, then this is the only charge that we are doing. Then if you just want the study materials, this is the charge for that. 2,415 per part. If you buy both of them together, it's 3,623. If you just want to enroll for the revision sessions, that's the charge for that, 1,365. Right? So this is where I have discussed about the whole CMA, the fees with us, Kaplan, and what is your roadmap for the CMA. Let me give you a 5 to 10 minute demo, and then I will open the round for question and answers. Right, so is everybody ready? So I have few people over here. Now, what I would request you to do is treat yourself as a live student. I mean, think of yourself, you've already started studying CMA with us. And then I will discuss one of the topics, and I would request you to ask me questions, answer my questions, and that will make your learning journey a bit more real, So I will do that, and I will actually show you how we train people online and as well as in the class. So let me actually show you that. So let me get out of this, slideshow. Just bear with me. Yeah. So what you'll do is I'm going to use a whiteboard over here. I will use a whiteboard and I'll show you one of the hot topics in CMA part 1. And let's see if you are able to grasp everything completely. All right. Now, in CMA part 1, let me give you a context and then I will proceed with the actual topic. In CMA part 1, you have section B. In section B, which is planning, budgeting, and forecasting, I'm going to pick up a topic from here. I'm going to pick up a topic from specifically planning. Now, this planning is nothing but strategic planning of the company. Now, when a company has to prepare a strategic plan, this is a long-term plan or a long-term strategy for the company. They have to use various planning tools and techniques. And particularly, I'm going to talk about one of the tools that a company uses in order to build their strategies. And that is called as Bcg Metrics. I'm going to talk about this. Trust me, this topic, there is a sure shot question coming from here. It's a very 4 stars means very important. So Bcg Metrics, let me tell you, is a tool that organizations use to rank their various products, based on two things. Based on one, relative market share of that product. Now, I understand I've not given you much context, but I will explain you some of the context behind things. What does market share mean? What do you mean by market share? That out of this whole industry, how much am I selling the product? So think of it this way, that in the whole, smartphones industry, what is the proportion of iPhones? So if 100 products are sold, 100 smartphones are sold, how much iPhones are sold? What is the percentage of that? That is relative market share. And then second thing that we look at to rank the products is the relative market growth. That how is the whole smartphones industry growing by? So that is the growth rate. Now understand at a high level, if a company has high relative market share, what does that mean? That means it is generating cash for the company. It is generating cash for the company. And if a particular product of a company is in the high market growth, that means they should invest more in the product. More in the product. Now, I've still not discussed about the BCG metrics. Metrics means this is how the metrics look like. Any metrics, this is how it will look like. So this metrics has two variables. The market growth, as I explained, is on a horizontal axis. And then you have market share on the vertical axis. Now the market share can be high, the market share can be low, and the market growth of a particular product can also be high or it can be low. So we have 4 quadrants out here. 1 quadrant, 2nd quadrant, 3rd quadrant, and 4th quadrant. Now what do we have in these quadrants, everyone? In this first quadrant, you have high market growth, and here you have high market share. And this is known by the BCG, Boston Consulting Group. When you have a product which is growing, which is in the high market growth stage, and it has high market share, it is a star for the company. Now, I'll give you an example of star from Apple's perspective. So here, look at Apple's perspective. Apple has various products. Which of the products do you believe is a star for them? Whose market growth is very, very high, and they have a high market share. Fantastic, Mr. Webber. Thank you so much for your answer. It's the iPhone. iPhone is a star for them. So Apple has a star, iPhone. It's growing at a high pace. It has a high market share, and it is growing in an industry which is growing at a rapid pace. Then, my friends, the next part, the next quadrant is a low market growth and a high market share. A low market growth and a high market share, an example of that would be, for Apple, what will be the example? It will be the MacBook. So that is called as a cash cow. This is called as a cash cow. And a cash cow for Apple is the MacBook. Is the MacBook. Next is a company or a product which has having a high market growth. The market is growing at a rapid pace, but you have a low market share. For Apple, this is the iPad. This is the iPad, and this is where we are confused. What should we do? And then hence this is called as, in BCG metrics, it is called as question mark. So that's the third thing that BCG metrics say. And the fourth one is low market growth and low market share. This is called as a dog. For Apple, what is a dog? So this was a question mark. And a dog for them is iPod. Yes, I have some answers. Thank you, Mr. Weber. Yes, it's the iPod. Now, what should you do with the iPod, which is a dog? Low market share in a low market growth industry. What should you do? What do you think? Apple should divest or sell this business. Divest or sell this business. They should no longer run this business. And that is the reason why they're not selling any more iPods. Now, everyone, understand what is happening with question marks. Question mark is iPad. The market is growing at a rapid pace. The market is growing at a rapid pace, and you currently have low market share. So high market growth says, what does it mean? It means invest more. And low market share means it is generating less cash. So what should you do? Should you invest more? Maybe, maybe not. But if you choose to invest more because there is a high market growth, it has a potential to become a star. That is, your market share could also grow in a high market growth industry. If your investment is not successful, then a question mark means it could fall into the dog category. So think of iPad segment. iPad could either become a star, and it is kind of becoming a star in some sense. If the investment is unsuccessful, it will become a dog. So that is what you should do with question mark. And that is the question over here. Only if the strategy is successful, you could either become a star or it could become a dog. What should you do with star? What should you do with star? It's a high market share in high market growth segment. This has a potential to become a cash cow as the market growth lowers, because it will continue to generate cash for you. So you should keep on investing more in the star. And then as the market growth flutters, you will get this into the cash cow segment, which is again a good part. It will keep on milking cash for you. So this is what we have as far as BCG Metrics is concerned. So I hope you like this part. Let me know if you have any questions on this. And now that's what I had for the demo. Hope you liked it. Now I will open this whole webinar for question and answers. So I had a couple of questions from a couple of individuals. I will answer those questions, and then I will have new questions. So let me know. So I have a question from Amna. She's working as a project engineer and thinking to expand the career in strategic planning. CMA helpful or not? Absolutely, it is helpful. This whole thing that I just discussed was part of planning, Amna. The whole section B is about planning, budgeting, and forecasting, which is the role of a strategic planner in a particular company. You should know how to build a budget. You should know how to use various tools and techniques in order to perform strategy and build strategy for the top level management. So hope I answered the question. CMA is a very relevant degree for that. And even this particular stuff gets expanded to section C, the third section of part 1, and the whole of section, or rather part 2, strategic financial management, is part of the strategic planner's role particularly. So yes, CMA is definitely relevant for that. Nadine asks, if you are a full-time employee, 6 working days, how much time I should study per day? Now, see, ideally, we recommend you should study for 300 hours. That includes class time, and that includes your revision time, that includes your question and answer questions that you will basically be solving. So 300 hours is the time. And I believe your exam will be in May or June. If you choose a date in June, you still have 5 months, 150 days, 2 hours a day, I would say. Okay, so maybe you can give more time on the weekend and then one hour on a daily basis. So that helps. But the consistency is a key over here. Right, so that's the point that you need to be aware of. So hope I answered your question, Nadine. Any other questions, anyone? Please shoot them across. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. So hope you have got your answer for which part should you go for. If you have any more questions in relation to that, please let me know. And any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So if you paid for both exams and you didn't pass the first exam, how it would be the payment process? So Nadine, so basically the fact is we give KPME assurance, right? So you can always have special discounts from us if you are reappearing. Now the assurance basically means that you can come back and attend the lectures again free of cost if you fail for the first time. Right, so more of that discussion, you can have it with our sales team. They will reach out to you, particularly tomorrow or day after, and you can ask all of these questions. Why the new batch will start in Feb? Why not early than that, so that students have more time for prep? Now understand, we kind of have one, so we kind of give like around 14 lectures. The 14 lectures is one lecture per week. So the benefit is that the more closer you are starting to the exam, the better are your chances to pass. Because if I start something today, most probably you will forget most of the stuff that I'm teaching today by even Feb and March. So by May, when your exam date comes, you will forget most of the stuff. So more closer to that is helpful for you for that matter. But again, if you want to gain access to the materials, you can enroll yourself right away and gain access to the materials and start self-study. But the classes start at that particular point in time so that we help you remember most of the stuff. So that's the logic for that. We can't start right now because most of the stuff that we teach will be difficult for you to retain. So that's the logic, Mozin. I hope I answered your question over there. Can you elaborate on your question, Nadine? Any refund, if you have any issue, what kind of issue? Can you explain, elaborate on that front? So if you weren't able to continue, obviously it's mostly on a case-by-case basis, but for that you'll have to reach out to our student support, particularly, and they will reach out to you with this particular question, right? So all the fees related stuff, they will be able to answer tomorrow for you. But I understand your doubts over here. If you weren't able to continue due to some issue, yes, we look at case-by-case basis. So it depends on that. Mozin asks, if we take admission now, what access would you give us? Textbooks only or access to the previous batch recordings as well? So not the recordings particularly, but we will give access to the materials. We will give access to the questions, all the study materials, Wiley study materials, including flashcards. See, again, if you want a head start, do not worry too much studying right now. You can always read the text and you can always reach out to me and I will guide you what kind of text you should ideally read. So that's something that we can discuss. So Amna was away. Yeah, sure. I will answer your question again. So does CMA degree help you in strategic planning? Absolutely, it does. As I gave you a brief about in the demo, what we discussed about was one of the tools and techniques about the strategic planning, which was Bcg Metrics. That's what we discussed a while back in my demo session. And all of this, along with Bcg Metrics and other tools and techniques, is something that you will learn for strategic planning. So yes, most of the material that you study in CFA, or rather CMA material, is relevant for a strategic planner role, Amna. when is the deadline to pay if we'll register for Feb window? No problem, Nadeem. That's fantastic questions. So yes, as I said, you can still enroll for the exam in February or January and February. But the fact of the matter is the classes have already begun. We have completed most of the course for part 1 and half of the course for part 2. The deadline, if you want to register for your exam, as I said before, it's 1 month before the exam date that you will have to choose an exam date. But yeah, if you want to go for January and Feb, and you enroll yourself for the whole course, we will obviously give you access to the recordings. Not the exams, but the course of Feb. When is the deadline to pay if we register in Feb window? Well, which deadline, which payment are you asking for? The IMA fees, the exam fees, or Kaplan fees? Sorry for my clarification questions, just to be sure about what am I answering. See, for May window, May-June window, you can enroll yourself for the exam 1 month prior to the exam date. For Kaplan, you can pay anytime right now, or pay later in December or January before the actual course starts. Again, our sales team will reach out to you again, they will tell you about the discounts and everything. Right. Any more questions? Any other question? I hope I answered all your questions. Please let me know. I'll be happy to answer all of your questions. By the way, great points, great questions. No question is a bad question. That's what we tell in the class as well. So you can, even if you have a slightest of doubts, do reach out to us, do ask it, because it just helps. No further questions, everyone. By the way, you've asked a lot of great questions, and we will reach out to you. You can reach out to us anytime. Basically, I'll give you the reference. You can take down the number of Miss Sandy. So here's the number. Let me just make it bigger. If you have any further questions, you can always reach out to Miss Sandy at, I can write this number down over here in the chat box for you. And the email address. You can note this number and the email address. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to Miss Sandy and she will be able to help you out completely with further questions. Right. Thank you so much for your time, everyone. Much appreciate your time. Thank you so much from, spending time over here from your hectic schedule. Hope to see you in the session soon, and good luck. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, Amna. Thanks, Mozin. Thank you so much. All your questions were perfect. Thank you.